Hey everyone, Brittany here, the program manager of Exos at Autodesk. I'm here because all of you are out skiing and snowboarding and hiking based on all the Slack posts we've been getting. And I know many of you in Marin County in California are actually having ski week right now. So I'm going to teach you today some recovery stuff you can do after a day out on the slopes. As you can probably tell, I'm in Tahoe myself, and I've been snowboarding a lot. So I'm right there with you, and I know how sore it makes you. All you're going to need for this regeneration workout is a foam roller. I have a trigger point foam roller that's a little bit shorter. Any one will do. You can find one for as cheap as $10 on Amazon. And then I also have a lacrosse ball. Once again, you can use a trigger point ball, something that's specially made for something like this. I got my lacrosse ball for $2 at Sports Basement. So, you know, anything will do, from the most basic thing to the most advanced thing, as long as it has a little squish and a little give to it. If you want something more forgiving, you can also use a tennis ball. If you've been doing this for a while and you want something that's really going to dig in, you can also use a golf ball, but I definitely don't recommend the golf ball if you're just starting out with any type of trigger point thing. So first, we're going to use our lacrosse ball on our feet. So point the camera down so you can see what I'm doing with my feet. So after a long day in snowboard or ski boots, you got to give your feet some love, especially ski boots. I've heard they're not comfortable. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the lacrosse ball right underneath our heel, and we're going to roll back and forth on the arch of our foot. And make sure you get all the different parts of your arch. So that part that goes right from your heel to your big toe, from your heel to your second toe, heel to third toe, so on and so forth. And then after we do that for a couple minutes, we're going to place our heel on the ground, and then we're going to windshield wiper our foot back and forth right underneath the ball of our foot. So this should feel nice and like a release on your toes, because we really do have 3 arches in our feet. So that big arch, the one we usually think of, the one that goes across, and then also the one on the outside of our foot, from heel to pinky toe or little toe, however you think about it. So after you've done a couple of these rolls back and forth, you can also plant your heel on the ground and then squeeze your toes together and then open your toes out. And I'm demonstrating what I'm doing with my hands right now because I realize it can be a little hard to see. So I'm just squeezing my foot and then I'm extending my toes as high as I can, just getting some mobility in our feet. We don't give our feet nearly enough love. And let's go ahead and switch to the other side. So find your balance or hold onto a wall for support. And then we're going to roll back and forth on that other foot, much like we did on the first side, looking for the spots that maybe don't feel quite so good or that are extra tense or need some love. You can focus in there, but do make sure you're exploring around, finding your full foot. If you feel a lot of tension by your heel, that could be connected to tight calves. I know it is with me. And we're going to be rolling out our calves next, so stick with me. After you go back and forth a few times, let's go ahead and plant the heel on the ground and move our foot side to side, windshield wiper like motion right under the ball of our foot. You can try further down if you like on your foot. Lots of different ways to do this. One's not necessarily better than the other. And for that last one, let's go ahead and keep our heel on the ground, clench our toes, and then open our toes. Clench our toes and open. Let's do one more time, clenching the toes and opening them up. Nicely done. So that's a good one you can do at your desk. You can have one of these underneath your desk in your home and just roll out your foot. You can do it while you're on one of the 20 Zoom calls during your day and nobody will know the difference. The next one we're going to do is our calves. So Snowboarding especially, you're up on your toes quite a bit. And skiing is also a calf workout, especially after being in those boots all day. So I'm gonna show you how to do it with the lacrosse ball, but you can also roll out your calves with a foam roller. This is gonna be a little bit more intense. This is gonna be just a little bit more gentle. So I'll demonstrate calves with the foam rolling after I do the lacrosse ball. So with our lacrosse ball, we're gonna put it right above our ankle to start. So you can kind of see that it's not too far up on my calf. And from here, I'm actually going side to side rather than up and down. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just looking for, once again, tension, sticky areas that don't feel quite so good. And then once I find something that doesn't feel so good, I'm just gonna press my calf into the foam roller. And then we can pedal the foot back and forth, or you can just push your foot into your calf, into the lacrosse ball and breathe. Breathing's the most important part with foam rolling or any kind of trigger point work. That's what we're doing with the lacrosse ball, is trigger point work. And that's going to help. The exhalation is going to help our nervous system relax and therefore our muscles relax. Okay, once you found that spot, you can also go a little higher up on the calf. We have two calf muscles. That big one we normally think of, that's a little bit higher up. And then we have our soleus, which is more on either side of our Achilles, a little bit lower down, which is where we started. So much like with the foot, we're just rolling around, giving attention to the spots that need it. And you can focus on about 3 breaths, full inhales, full exhales for every sticky spot you find. Found one right there. Woo! All right, so that's with the lacrosse ball. You can go ahead and do that on the other side or continue on that side, but I'm going to switch sides and show you what I'm doing with the foam roller. So like I said, the foam roller is going to be a little bit more gentle. It might not be intense enough depending on your level. So I'm putting my left foot on the outside of the foam roller, and I'm starting with the other ankle right on the foam roller. And then you need some leverage here. So I like to come up on my fists after a day of typing, and I'm lifting my hips up and I'm rolling the foam roller up towards my knee and then coming all the way back down. So rolling up, coming down. And then we can also take our foot out to the side as we're doing this, or towards the midline of our body. Whichever angle you choose, do a couple passes first in that one area before moving to another one, just to make sure you can find the sticky spots. And then just like with the lacrosse ball, if you do find something that's sticky, that's a good time to lower your hips down and push your calf into the foam roller. And focus on your breathing to help those muscles relax. Once again, about 3 breaths per sticky spot, and then maybe a minute or 2 per area. Okay, I am gonna skip the quads and the hamstrings because they're pretty similar to the calves, same principles, the hamstrings especially. Quads, you would just roll over onto your forearms. One of the other important ones to do after a day of, this is relevant for pretty much any sport, but hiking, skiing, backpacking, snowboarding, is we want to roll out our back, because I know my back is sore after a weekend of riding. So we're going to focus, if you come to my class, we do this one a lot. So we're going to focus on our thoracic spine, this area right below our neck and right above our lumbar spine, which is that lower curve in the back. So we're going to put the foam roller right above that lower curve. Hands go behind our head, feet are just out in front of us for some leverage. From here, we're going to lift the hips up, squeeze the elbows together, and we're going to roll the foam roller up towards our neck. And then we're going to come back down, rolling up towards our neck, and then coming back down. So this should feel really nice. You should feel maybe some snap, crackle, pops. Good snap, crackle, pops, I might add. And then feel free to set your hips down at any point, readjust your feet in the foam roller as needed. And then you can also shift your weight slightly to the right, do a couple passes that way on that side of your spine, shift your weight to the left, do a couple passes on that side, find what feels good. And then once you've done a few passes, you're feeling a little stretched out, you can set the hips down and come back up to seated. So those are just a few areas that you can use the foam roller and the lacrosse ball. Like I said, I didn't even touch the quads, which are the front of the thighs, or the hamstrings, which are the back of the thighs. Those are really important parts for all those sports. So try it out. Also try your lacrosse ball out. The principles are the same with the calves, rolling around, finding a spot that sticks, and then breathing into it until you release. So that is your daily regeneration challenge and instruction. Let me know how it goes. Hopefully you feel better after than when you started. Thanks for watching, everyone.